Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, the search still continues for a father and son from Calhoun County whose boat capsized in Lavaca Bay. 2 police officers are in recovery in New York City after a shooting involving a migrant in Queens today. And in North Texas, one community is bracing for potential catastrophic flooding due to a dam failure.
Well, the heat is definitely on, and it's going to be on for quite some time. We're going to have to deal with the summer heat very early. Dome of high pressure going to be on top of us, and therefore our chances for a break are very slim. We'll be talking more about that and taking a look at the tropics coming up in a moment.
Plus, the jury has been seated in the firearm trial of Hunter Biden. You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for being here with us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia has the day off. Victoria police arrested a 25-year-old suspect Sunday. Jacob Mank of Victoria faces an assault caused by bodily injury of a family member charged from Bexar County, along with 2 assault charges from Victoria County. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $60,000 bond. A 20-year suspect was arrested by Victoria police Saturday. Justin Morales of Victoria faces charges of evading arrest with a vehicle, tampering with physical evidence, theft of a firearm, and engaging in organized criminal activity. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $70,500 bond. Victoria police arrested 2 burglary suspects this morning, 62-year-old Donald Buchek and 41-year-old Joseph Daly. Both of Victoria are charged with burglary of a building. Buchek also charged with criminal trespass of a home or shelter center. They are in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $43,200 total bond. 2 suspects from San Antonio were arrested by Victoria police Saturday. 45-year-old Renee Reyes and 31-year-old Ruby Rodriguez are charged with forgery, fraud, and making a false statement. Rodriguez is also charged with evading arrest with a vehicle. They are in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a total of $133,000 bond. 2 New York City police officers were released from the hospital after being shot in an exchange of gunfire with a migrant. Officers were investigating a robbery pattern when they met a man driving a moped in the wrong direction. The suspect, 19-year-old Bernardo Mata, fired at the officers and they fired back. One officer was shot in the leg while the other was shot in his bullet-resistant vest. Castro Mata is in custody, suspected in some robberies. Authorities say he entered the U.S. from Venezuela through Texas last year. The family of a missing father and son in Calhoun County are still hoping they can be found. 50-year-old Benedicto Jaramillo and his son, 15-year-old Angel Jaramillo, left Magnolia Beach Saturday morning to go shrimping. The 40-foot shrimping vessel they were on capsized in a storm. The Coast Guard suspended its search Sunday morning. The Port Lavaca Wave reports family members are still searching Lavaca Bay. So are volunteers from Hunter Hadley's Quest, a group founded after a boating accident caused the death of Hunter Hadley in January 2023. Now let's take a first look at your first warned storm team forecast. Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis joins us now with a look at what's going on outside. And Mac, the heat continues after a bunch of rain on the weekend.
Yeah, a little bit of rain over the weekend was nice for a break, but boy, I'll tell you, it's summer heat for sure. As a matter of fact, today, absolute sunshine, but we're looking out here. You want a glimmer of hope? I'm going to give you a glimmer of hope. But that's about all we've got, and we'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on. Don, back to you.
Mac, thank you. The jury has been seated in Hunter Biden's federal firearms case, the first time the child of a sitting president is on trial. 12 panelists and 4 alternates were chosen after 1 day of jury selection. Hunter Biden is accused of lying about his history of drug use. When buying a gun in 2018, he's pleaded not guilty.
Day 1 of jury selection in the trial of Hunter Biden, the first time the child of a sitting president is on trial. Hunter Biden arriving at the federal courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware this morning. The First Lady Jill Biden walking in minutes later, then sitting in the front row as potential jurors faced questions including their knowledge of the case, any personal struggles with addiction, and their thoughts on gun ownership. One juror excused after telling the judge gun ownership is a God-given right. Another dismissed after saying, "It seems like politics is playing a big role in who gets charged with what and when."
I think for the defense, I want to see, are they looking for an empathetic juror? I also looking to the government in terms of their prosecution and saying, hey, if you just follow the documents and you follow what he says, are you going to convict?
Hunter Biden spending the weekend in Delaware with his father. The president not in court, issuing a statement saying in part, "As the president, I don't and won't comment on pending federal cases, but as a dad, I have boundless love for my son, confidence in him, and respect for his strength." Hunter Biden faces 3 felony charges related to buying this gun in 2018. Prosecutors say he was abusing drugs and accuse him of checking a box on an ATF form stating he was not actively using illegal narcotics. Hunter Biden has pleaded not guilty and has been public about his struggles with addiction.
I've made mistakes in my life and wasted opportunities and privileges I was afforded. For that, I'm responsible.
The jury is now seated. It took the entire day to do so. Remember, this is a small state and home to the president, so people knew about this story. This trial should last 2 to 3 weeks. Perry Russum, ABC News, Wilmington, Delaware.
A small North Texas community is on alert for potential catastrophic flooding if a dam fails from the ongoing heavy rain over the past few weeks. The mayor of McClendon Chisholm, which is about 30 miles east of Dallas, says a catastrophic failure of the dam would flood about 25 to 30 homes. The dam has shifted about 6 feet due to the recent wet weather. Water is now seeping through the bottom, causing an onion effect. The dam will basically continue peeling away, but one of 2 things can happen. It could collapse or it could fall in on itself and actually reinforce the dam.
Depending on what that rain does, and you got to remember all that water feeds into different areas that's going to come to this area. So as it's draining into those areas, I mean, how much can it keep up? That I don't know. I don't know if anyone can forecast that answer, but if it does hit like it's been hitting, then it would be, I would call it a dangerous level.
If an evacuation is needed, an alert will be sent through social media, homeowner associations, and the Rockwall County Office of Emergency Management. Neighbors are being asked to stay ready in case they have to leave. The Corpus Christi Police Department announced Senior Officer Vincent Ortiz died over the weekend. On May 21st, while conducting traffic control for a funeral on his police motorcycle, a vehicle struck Officer Ortiz. The driver tried to cut through the procession and collided with Ortiz, who was thrown from his motorcycle. Ortiz served with the Corpus Christi Police Department for 15 years. He leaves behind a wife and 2 children. A GoFundMe page has been set up to help the family during this time. Ortiz is the 2nd Corpus Christi police officer to die from work-related injuries this year. Dallas Cowboys Hall of Fame lineman Larry Allen is dead. The team announced today that Allen died suddenly while vacationing with his family in Mexico. Allen played 14 seasons in the NFL, 11 with the Cowboys, and was named to 10 Pro Bowls, the most of any Cowboys offensive player in history. Allen was part of the team that won Super Bowl 30. He retired in 2009 and was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2013. He's also a member of the Cowboys Ring of Honor. Larry Allen is survived by his wife, 2 daughters, and a son. Larry Allen was 52 years old. U.S. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee has pancreatic cancer. The Texas Democrat is currently undergoing treatment. In a statement, she says she would be, quote, occasionally absent, unquote, from Congress during this time, but is working with congressional leadership to be present for critical votes. Jackson made an unsuccessful bid for the Houston mayor's office last year. Earlier this year, she fended off a primary challenge from a one-time congressional intern for her deep blue 18th district seat. The Victoria ISD has a special meeting this Wednesday to review proposals for a search firm as it looks for the next superintendent. They will select the search firms they want to meet with at the June 10th board meeting. The meeting is at 3:30 at 102 Prophet Drive. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. Atlanta's mayor gives an update on the major water main breaks that took place over the weekend. That's straight ahead on 25 News now at 5. Also ahead, Mexico has elected its first female president. Israel's military confirmed the deaths of 4 more hostages held by Hamas, including 3 older men who were seen in a Hamas video begging for their release. The announcement comes days after President Biden said Israel offered Hamas a deal to release all the hostages in Gaza. At the top UN court, Palestinian leaders asked to join South Africa's case accusing Israel of committing genocide in Gaza. Israel continues to face growing criticism over the huge cost in civilian lives and widespread destruction caused by the nearly 8-month war. Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens is apologizing for the chaos caused by 2 massive water main breaks in the city over the weekend. Today, in an interview with CNN, Dickens acknowledged the frustration brought on by water outages, low water pressure, and boil water advisories. The water main breaks shuttered tourist attractions, caused events to be postponed, and forced Dickens to declare a state of emergency in the city.
So right now, Atlantans, most Atlantans have water. It's just we want to make sure that they boil it out of a precautionary measure. And this has been in place over the last day and a half to 2 days that we've been under a boil water advisory. We're trying to resolve the situation. Nobody is happy when you can see water gushing out of the street.
Atlanta's watershed management says the issues began Friday with breaks in 2 lines that carry large volumes to the city. Mayor Dickens hopes to have the boil water advisory lifted later today. A new report released today is shining a light on the challenges those who identify as LGBTQ+ face when it comes to cancer prevention and treatment.
In what it calls a first-of-its-kind study, the American Cancer Society compiled cancer statistics specifically for those who identify as LGBTQ+.
We don't really have information about morbidity and mortality for the LGBTQ positive population because it's not captured that way. We don't have sexual preferences or sexual identity, captured in any cancer mortality data.
But researchers were able to ascertain cancer risk for this community and found LGBTQ+ individuals are likely at higher risk for cancer due to their fear of being turned away from care and discrimination within the healthcare community. The researchers say 30% of medical students surveyed say they are not comfortable treating transgender patients.
In some states that healthcare providers, based on what's broadly described as religious or personal preferences, can actually refuse to see certain populations, which for us is really a horrifying thought.
Researchers say LGBTQ+ individuals in the U.S. are also more likely to smoke, have excess body weight, and use alcohol heavily, which also adds to their cancer risk.
Our hope is this will really, increase a greater understanding and a real greater ability to, target areas of prevention and screening.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Cucumbers bound for 14 states were recalled over potential salmonella contamination. The recall came after the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture found a product sample tested positive for salmonella. Now, salmonella can cause diarrhea, fever, vomiting, and stomach cramps. The FDA says it's unlikely affected cucumbers made at the grocery stores, but consumers should check with their grocers to be sure. Claudia Sheinbaum has won Mexico's presidential election. Sheinbaum now faces a market meltdown and a tough path toward reconciling a country left deeply divided by outgoing President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. Long-delayed initial vote counts gave her a crushing margin of victory, higher even than the one López Obrador won in 2018. With about 78% of votes counted, Sheinbaum was getting about 59% of the votes, about twice as many as her nearest competitor, who got around 28%. And here's your viewer poll this afternoon. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, do you think the U.S. will elect its first woman president in your lifetime? Yes, no, or never. We want to hear your opinion. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we will have an update on 25 News now at 6, which will be right in front of a very important show, Mac.
Yes, we're inviting everybody tonight at 6:30 following the 6 o'clock news for a special program we prepared. It's called Storm Prepped 2024. Why? Well, it's the beginning of the tropical storm season, and it's a subject we need to be ready for just in case something shows up. That's tonight at 6:30. Join us tonight, all right? Otherwise, we're looking at some pretty hot temperatures, looking at 89 right about now. It feels like 99. The humidity is going to be high for the next couple of days. Our high was officially 91, but it's going to be climbing. In fact, it's going to be an interesting situation where the temperature's going up, but the humidity is coming down a little bit, and that's going to help us. We'll be talking about that after this. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Yes, the heat is on, and it'll be on for quite some time. It's going to be a long, hot summer. There's I promised you a glimmer of hope. We have a little glimmer of hope. Now, while we've got nothing around our area right now, what we saw, a couple of weeks ago is storms that fire out west because of the mountains, okay? Remember, the moisture is going this way. Upper winds are going this way, and so when they collide with the mountains, they become big thunderstorms, and then they start drifting toward Texas. For the next day or so, tonight and tomorrow, there's a glimmer that some of that stuff will cross the Rio Grande and eventually get close to our area, but it's a glimmer of hope. Other than that, it's the big dome of doom that's going to be with us and that we're going to be tracking for quite some time. This is a semi-permanent feature. It's called a subtropical high. It basically is what brings summer to us, and it brings us, when it parks up here, that's when everybody's under a heat wave. And if you've heard me say the following, when the heat wave hits Chicago, that means when this dome moves way up here, then the door opens for the tropical storm season. So right now, this is actually blocking anything, although there is some stuff developing in the tropics. It is blocking a lot of that out of our area. So Doppler radar has nothing going on except for the brilliant heat out there, but we are watching this activity. This is I'm not guaranteeing you this. It's a glimmer that it'll drift in our area because in 2 or 3 days, that is going to be gone as well. Tonight, however, Dallas again getting pounded by big thunderstorms even as we speak. It's happening right about now through the afternoon drive time. The heaviest activity now rolling up to Texarkana and into Arkansas. This band is going to be rolling basically into Louisiana, so not a major concern for us. So yes, I wish I could tell you different, but I can only tell you the truth here. That's my job. We're looking at 94 and then up to about 98 as we get to the weekend. Our average high this time of year is about 92. So this is not at record, but it's getting up there. Tonight, the severe weather is up here where you saw the stuff up in Dallas. No major problems down south, and we have that garden variety, you know, less than a 30% chance of anything rolling through here. And then tomorrow, still a little bit better chance up north than down south. But that glimmer of hope is the only thing really kind of that I can even grasp to show you as we get on into the week. We are looking at some blazing temperatures, and the best we can do right now, those of you that are working outdoors, well, you know, you got to cool it down and get a hat, and the guys I see are wearing sort of like face masks, which is good. If you're on the breeze, that's great. If you're working indoors, you just better hope your air conditioner is working okay. Make sure you check on the filters, make sure the coil is not all full of dirt. So we want it to work at maximum efficiency. And if you have a question, you know, ask your AC guys to come take a look at it. Tomorrow we're looking at 102 in San Antonio, 92 in Dallas, and our temperatures, well, they're going to be very close to the mid-90s right on through. Partly cloudy, lots of sun in Port Lavaca. Partly cloudy, lots of sun in Cuero, up to about 95. And as you can see right there, we're actually getting into a heat wave that's going to begin on Wednesday and last all the way through the weekend, if not longer. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. And here's Don.
Mike, thank you. And coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we'll take a look at your stocks. Plus, staying cool this summer will put a heavy dent in the pockets of many Americans. Taking a look at the stocks, the Dow down 115 points, the S&P 500 up 6 points, and the Nasdaq up 94 points. Oil down $2.77, closing at $74.22 per barrel. The National Weather Service says the U.S. will have above normal temperatures these next few months. One analysis predicts the average cost to stay cool will go up nearly 8% from June through September. It worked out to an average of $719. That's nearly $200 more than the electricity cost on average in 2019. Those living in the Mid-Atlantic and Pacific could see costs jump to more than 12%. The Department of Health and Human Services says heat-related deaths are rising in the country. Stay with us. We'll take one last look at your forecast. Plus, Simone Biles from outside Houston wins her 9th U.S. Gymnastics Championship. And now here's a look at what's coming on World News Tonight, right after News Now at 5.
Coming up tonight, the Hunter Biden trial begins. The First Lady is there in court in New York City. 2 NYPD officers shot and wounded. News on the border with Mexico tonight, what President Biden now plans to do. And the shark attack off the coast, the swimmer punching the shark to survive. We're next.
The best ever. Simone Biles has won her 9th national all-around title to close out the U.S. Gymnastics Championships in Fort Worth. The win officially clinched a spot for Biles in the U.S. Olympic trials later this summer, which will be held in Minneapolis. She is now the first gymnast, man or woman, to win 9 all-around titles. Biles finished with the highest 2-day score in 4 events, something she had done only once before at Nationals in 2018. Join us tonight for Storm Prep 2024. 25 News Now anchor Karina Garcia provided an insight on how homebound patients often face challenges when it comes to evacuating from dangerous hurricanes. Come to crossroadstoday.com to read the article, and tonight at 6:30 you can watch other stories on how to prepare ahead of the storm. And I'm not saying this because I work with you, Mac, but that's a really good show.
Oh,
that's
good.
A really good show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It
You
is.
know, I mean, we sat around and everybody said, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And these are all topics that we all need to discuss every now and then. So I think you'll enjoy it. And that's tonight. So, you know, after the 6 o'clock news, just kick back and relax and watch a little discussion on the possible tropical storm season that we're looking at. Otherwise than that, you know, I hate to say this, you know, the old timers will tell you, all we need is one of them small tropical storms coming through here. But you know, they have, because that's the only way we're going to get any significant relief out of this heat. The hot weather is actually going to get a little bit worse later this week. But it's an interesting situation as the high heat index is today and tomorrow. So it's going to be warmer, but the humidity is going to be dropping down a little bit. And that will actually lower the heat index as we get to the weekend. So it's kind of what I call Arizona dry, not South Texas dry.
That's very dry.
That's very dry. I mean, that's arid stuff. That's oven baking.
That's right. All right, thank you, Mac, and thanks for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is next.